If it matters in sport, it lands here first.
This matter will not be swept under the carpet.
On Marawa Sports Worldwide.
It's in their hands. It's for them to lose it.
Hashtag MSW on 947, Boomer FM, Rise FM, and Sowetan Live.
Oh, it's a Friday, hey?
Friday nights, always about our beloved legends.
He's the only man who has the confidence that he has, is Mark Williams. Hey, whatever you want to say about the man, confidence is one thing that he possesses more than most. If you're watching on the YouTube channel, please switch it on. Look at the youthful man. Hey, he's wearing a very special cap. Hall of Fame. I don't know which Hall of Fame he is a part of. He didn't tell me about that, but he'll probably break it down for us just now. Send us your comments on that YouTube channel as well. That's how part of this family does grow. And I can tell you, we're going to be talking about so many different things, though, but the 2026 FIFA World Cup delivering unforgettable drama that you and I have seen. I mean, it's been breathtaking football, what we can call watershed moments for African football. Well, for Morocco's courageous campaign, I mean, it came to an end against France last night, bringing Africa's involvement at the tournament to a close. The continent leaving North America with its head pretty much held high. So African nations, once again, prove that they can compete with the very, very best in the world. But is that good enough, this competing with the best in the world? I mean, from fearless young stars and also commanding defenders, to inspirational captains and heroic goalkeeping. This has been a World Cup where African football captured the imagination of fans across the globe, but also earning worldwide respect. And that's why the man who's here in studio with us, who understands what it means, though, to wear national team colors, is in fact wearing national team colors. How many years since? When did you retire?
Well, that's interesting. After 96, Robert. Evening, Robert. I mean, you just asked me like that. Can you give me a break?
We're here to talk, my friend.
Well, let me tell you this. I didn't retire, Robert. I think it's funny, because you're looking back and you say, I was 30 years old. I was on the peak of my football career.
Yeah.
And I think that football politicians, they decided, it's sad, but, the truth has to come out. You can't hold on to it because you live once and you have to say it. And unfortunately, after 96, when I scored the 2 goals, that was basically my last time I played for Bafana.
But why? What do you mean politics kicked in? Did they force you to retire?
Yeah, look, for me it was, it's a sad story because the documentary will tell it, and I've been saying that for the past years, is that once I played for the 96 team, and I was in England, playing for England, and, they offered me £2 million in a 3-year contract, and a lot of people know that story.
Okay, rewind. You were in England playing for Wolves.
96, I was playing for Wolves, 96.
Yeah, not England.
Eh?
You were in England playing for Wolves and not in England playing for England.
Yeah, no, not for England. Otherwise, I wasn't still going to be there.
Yeah, sorry, carry on.
And so, the club offered me £2 million just a week before I came here. And they said, listen, we're giving you £2 million not to go, plus a 3-year contract not to go and play in the AFCON Cup. And that was a big decision for me, Rob. I was driving around. I even drove to London from the middle. You can imagine from Wolverhampton, it took me about an hour and 20 minutes, but I took about an hour because, we all had sport cars that time.
Okay.
And I got there, I did a bit of pub crawling. I didn't know what pub crawling was then, but I assumed that you go to the one pub, to the next pub, and to the other pub. So when I went to these pubs, I take out this piece of paper I still got on me.
Right.
That the gaffer gave me, the coach, some people that doesn't know what the gaffer means. And
in South Africa, you change a letter there at the front, it's something else.
Yes. So, by the way, and I went to the pub, I opened it, I look at it, £2 million plus a 3-year contract not to go to the AFCON Cup. And I think after about 6-7 pubs I went to, I even end up at the nightclub. And about at 1:30, I tore up the letter. And I said, let me come and represent my country.
Oh, wow.
And,
So, do you know what pub crawling is now in 2026? Because I'm sure by the time you went to the club, you were crawling.
Yeah, well, I was crawling, but I didn't know. I didn't know then what that meant. But I then realized. But look, it was a great thing 30 years ago.
Yeah.
That's why we're celebrating 2026, 1996. We are still celebrating 30 years of Bafana winning the AFCON Cup. And this year, we had a wonderful success golf day. I want to thank all the people that came there to my golf day that made it so success. And that means I can give back to the community. And now I'm doing a tour which is going to be in Durban, in PE, in Cape Town, Bloemfontein, and Joburg. And we sit around the table with the legends, and we just have a legends experience when we talk about in our life what we did so we can give back to the new future coming in.
Yes, as you've wrapped your life up in 30 seconds there, you talked from wolves to pub crawling to nightclubs to being back to a golf day to more golf days that you're going to be having. I find that ridiculously impressive. So well done. Let me go back though. So you made a sacrifice. You had this contract. You had this paper that was saying don't go and represent your country. We want you here. It's a £2 million pounds deal. So £2 million then, even now, is a lot of money.
Yeah.
So you tore that up and you said, to hell with this. I'm going to go represent my country.
That's what I did, Rob. It wasn't easy because, when I looked at it and then I decided, looking back a year later, I was in Germany doing preseason training when the Boca was playing 95. Now, that same year afterwards, I got the contract at Wolves and I played there. And then I'm like, isn't this what you want, that feeling that you miss when you were in another country? And I said, maybe I can be the difference of being that one that makes a difference in the country. And thanks God, sometimes we're giving credit, we always ask, but sometimes you need to ask God, what is it that you want me to do? And that's what I did, Rob.
Well, you gave us something really, really beautiful that people still, till today, celebrate.
Good evening, Rob, and good evening to the legend. Rob, you are talking to the South African Sports Wall of Fame inductee. Mark Williams' name will always be echoed in South African sporting memories for the 2 goals that he scored in that 1996 African Cup of Nations. His instinct for goal and ability to perform under pressure made him one of the feared strikers we've ever produced in this country. Mark, if I'm not mistaken, you are turning 60 next month. Which footballing moment other than the 1996 AFCON would you relive forever if you were given the opportunity? Thank you so much. Tabogoye.
Thank you so much. Why is it when you mention 60, then you just pack out laughing?
Yo, Rob, I mean, I thought I was going to keep it a secret. I even said to my wife, and that's a funny part, is that my mother-in-law got 60 last year, and I said to her, you mustn't give my 60, let's give my 65 years later. And she said, Mark, I can't do that. We need to know that people need to know what you're doing. But yeah, thanks for that, for the message. I think that, I've always said that when you have to give back. And I've always said to the Bafana knocking on the door, went to all the top clubs and say that in one thing is that what we're lacking is striker. As you guys can see, in the World Cup, if you don't have deadly strikers, you're not going to go far. And that is what we're lacking. Not that we didn't have them. It's just that the experience that we lack during the World Cup, we had some. But look, at the end of the day, locally, I think we're the only country that had so many local players and less international players. And when you're playing against the world, you need international players.
So what just to pick up on what Debocha says, and it's an important point, though, when you reach a milestone, and 60 is exactly that. It's a milestone. So you just got a couple of days left until the 11th of August. Sorry to crush you just like that. It's okay, make it sound nice. You got a month left before you turn 60. So what is it about this milestone for you that you would love to see a Mark Williams achieve for the next 10 years? Because now it's that window, it's that 10-year window before we can call you a nice, wonderful old dopey of 70. So 60 is significant, but for you, what is significant about it?
Rob, you're touching on that point, and when people ask me how do you feel, and I'm like, wow, I am 60. I can just give credit to God for keeping me alive, for keeping me healthy, and walking this journey with me. When we talk about the milestone, is how do I want people to remember me? It's not to be a legend, it's a legacy I want to leave behind. And the legacy is, that's why my foundation, I want to go to schools. I want to inspire these kids. I want to give back. And, one day, when they look back, and they must say, wow, this was really a legacy that he left behind. And that must be, whenever I'm not here, that somebody must take it away. Because the best thing that you can do is, where you come from, is to give back where you come from. And that is a feeling that, Rob, that money can't buy.
Well, with your money, you've bought a lot. So let's start there and celebrate the fact that you were able to play this beautiful game. Of all of these clubs that you've played for, never mind Cosmos or Sundowns or Hellenic or Cape Town Spurs. Half of them don't exist anymore. So all of them defunct, so they don't exist.
Mega Warriors.
Yeah, you know the story, Michael Warriors. But which journey? Because it took you, to the Premier League 100%, and that is something to celebrate because not everyone now is able to break into the Premier League from South Africa. Then you went to China.
I went to China.
Clubs that you probably don't even know how to pronounce.
Yeah, Chongqing. I played in Chongqing. Chongqing. I played Chongqing Lifan. I played in Shanghai, Shanghai Senhua, and then I played in Qingdao. I remember many years, probably 35 years ago, Rob, you asked me to come into your show and I had to do the weather in Chinese language. I don't know if you still remember that.
Remember. Well, I mean, the break is coming up soon, so maybe we might ask you to take us to the break in, one of those languages. But a lot of people say that within Chinese football, right, as much as people downplay the importance, and we see even with the rugby players, a lot of them go and play in China, and they make a lot of, Japan as well. So there's a lot of money to be made as far as that part of the world is concerned. Would you say the amount of money you made playing in China was something quite significant?
Yeah, Rob, it was, I mean, I remember at one stage, for 6 months, a doctor put me off in China. Mm-hmm. I had a knee operation, and the chairman came to me and he said to me, can you just go with the team? You're not going to play, we do understand it, but because you're that guy in the team that you make the team buzzing and things like that. And off we went. That's all 2 hours, went to Shanghai. Mm-hmm. End of the day, I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the players. I'm saying, guys, come on, we can do it, 1-1. Then I hear the coach call me, he says, sorry, there's somebody that wants to see you. I go to the next room, is the boss. He says to me, Marker. He said, Ni hao. I said, Ni hao. Maisama. I said, Kayla. And that's how you doing. And I said, no, I'm fine. He says to me, how's the knee? I said, it's paining. He said, if I take the pain away, would you be able to play? I said, no, I can't, because the doctor told me, he said, okay, there's a bag. You can look in the bag, my private jet. You can go to Hong Kong after the game with that bag. I looked in the bag, it was $20,000. And obviously taking the flight to Hong Kong. I said to him, no, but I can't. He said, just try it. I thought, drop 20,000 that time for me. I mean, just to play. He said, you don't have to play the full game. And I played. While I'm playing, I scored the first goal. There was no pain after that injection I took. Yeah. It was injection again.
I mean, it's to numb the pain.
It numbed the pain.
Yeah.
And off I go after the game, got to the private jet. Now I'm walking with security.
Bodyguards.
Into the plane, me alone. Off I go to Hong Kong. And I spend some of that money, but most of the money, when I wanted to open an account, they said, no, you can't. You have to go to the post office and open a post office account because you're not registered there.
Okay.
So all the money I left, I bought some nice Rolexes and what, and the money I put in the post box. Rob, it's amazing. And where did I get for 3 months? I got money for going just with the team. And I said, no, I'm not playing. I'm saying you. He says, Mark, just look in the bag. And then the private plane is there.
It was cash.
Rob, cash. With a private jet, no, nothing, off to Hong Kong. Stay there. When I'm finished Sunday, back into the plane. Monday morning, back to Chongqing.
Well, I'm glad you bought those Rolexes there in China because there's no Rolex gang there to take it away from you. So.
At least I know the Rolex guys, so they're not going to worry with my Rolex. I think I was many times in Alex.
But, you read so many times, even top players, Emmanuel Lubues of this world. I don't want to mention too many, but he's spoken about it quite openly, where he says, despite playing for Arsenal and being such a high-profile player, decisions that he made in his life, including, some personal of divorce and so on, he finds himself from being a rolling millionaire to being a rolling zillionaire.
Yeah.
So very sad stories, and you find sometimes it's out of people's hands, but at times it was within their hands. They just decided to spend all of this money. Do you feel, though, that you had enough financial literacy for you to be able to make the right decisions, build a home for yourself, for your family, which today you look back and say that was such a good investment because it still speaks to who Mark Williams is?
Rob, you're touching on something, and it's actually in my book. I played for Hellenic. As an amateur, I got a professional contract to play for Hellenic in Cape Town. And that time apartheid was very bad still, just started to change and things like that. So there was about 5 colors in the team and the other was all white. And the funny part is that after the game, I would go with the colored guys. We would go to the club. We would go meet the same girls, and then we have the same drink. Nothing changes. I go with Gavin Hunt and some of these guys, and these guys talk business. And they talk about, hey, listen, when you have money, you need to invest in this. You need to buy a flat. When you get a car, you stop the car. Get a house here. Then next week I go with the colored guys. Go to the same club. We meet the same girls, and it's the same thing. There's no structure. I go with the white guys, and that's how I learned. And then I said to myself, wow, if I can do what they say, maybe it's not bad off. And I think my first signing on fee that I got, because at Hellenic, when I look at the Joburg players, all of them, I'm talking about the Fani Madidas, the Paul Masingas, all these guys, may soul rest in peace, these guys used to get signing on fee. We in Cape Town used to get a pie and a Coke for signing on fee.
A meat pie.
A meat pie. And they set me up. They said, go to Mr. George. He was the owner of 7-Eleven, of Hellenic. So you ask him, Mr. George, I'm coming. Yeah, Mark, you had a great season. I said, yeah, Mr. George, I want to sign on. He said, Mark, did you have a pie and a Coke? I said, yes. He said, that's your signing on fee. Until I decided to stop, and I came to Cosmos, and that's when I got my first signing on fee. So from Cosmos, on my way back to Cape Town this Sunday, I just heard Mark Williams signed for Sundowns. And I'm like, but I don't know about this. Yeah. But in my head, I know that these guys get lots of money. They don't get a pie and a Coke. And I stopped, and somebody at the airport took me to Sundowns, and I signed the contract.
How much was your signing on fee?
Well, at that time, I got, at Cosmos, I got 25. At Sundowns, I got 45. And then the house that I wanted to buy for my mother as a boy training, when my friends were laughing at me, was 85,000. When I went back to Hellenic, I was the first one who got 85,000.
Wow.
And I bought my mother a house. And since then, I just bought houses, flats and houses. And I think, Rob, that is one thing I want to tell the future players. Guys, if you're out there listening to this, it's very important. Once you're on top, everybody loves you. But you need to invest. Take all the money, because once you got property, it belongs to you. There's a small thing that Akiri did, is that put the stuff on his mother, because the only difference is that, and don't get me wrong, I was married and 99% of my investment was gone. So learn from that. There's not only men abuse, there's also women abuse.
Yeah. So when you were signing on, but not signing on, you were signing to eat a steak and a pie. Which one did you go for? Steak and kidney pie, or was it a pepper pie?
Rob, I didn't want to eat the pie because I wanted the money.
Nights, always, about our beloved legends.
He is indeed our beloved legend, soon to be 60-year-old Mark Williams, joining us right here in studio as we look back and we celebrate a life that has brought us everything, and I mean everything, joyous and otherwise. I see a lot of you on the YouTube channel there. Somebody, Togozani Shabalala, who says that, you know what, you got a legend and a great storyteller, and I used to enjoy his analysis with Zain Musa on Supersport. Why are we not seeing you and Zain anymore? Why are we not seeing you and Zain Musa on television anymore?
Well, Robert, came due to COVID, actually. I think Zain just followed something that he loved. He grew his beard long, and they told him that he needed to cut it, and he said, look, it's my religion. And they didn't call him afterwards.
For having a beard?
Yeah, for having a beard, a long beard. Yeah, they wanted him to cut it off and be,
Oh.
And but I think what the guy is saying, yeah, I've worked with a lot of guys that analyze, and I must say, Zain came there with his Soweto paper, but when he opened his mouth, that was a top guy to work with.
Yeah.
It was sad what they did. In my case, I was offered a new contract after working there for 21 years, and this contract was I had to work myself, and I did. There was no money up front. And the guy said, look, I said, but you haven't paid me for 2 months. And he says to me, yeah, but look, once you sign the contract, we will pay you. And that was now coming into December. And I said, why not? Let's sign the contract. And then obviously, so when I signed the contract, afterwards he said to me, sorry, that we can't pay you because you need to work. I said, but you told me this. You said, if I sign the contract, you will pay me my 2 months that I've worked, and now you're changing the story. And I did say to him, if I get you in Cape Town, be careful, I hope you can swim.
Sure. But do you remember who the person was?
Yes, I know who the person was.
Is it going to be in your
know,
book, or where do we read it?
Yeah, he's no more. He's no more there. You know,
Yeah.
the funny part is that Rob, most of my contracts were signed by some Indian friends that I used to have, and and some black guys. And this time they gave a white oak to give me my contract, and he gave it. And I said to him, "But why are you fooling me? Because you knew you had to change something in the contract." And you made me sign it, then afterwards you came and you tell me this. But it was very sad, Rob, because I even spoke to the CEO and I said, the way you let me go from this, after servicing you for 22 years, not even a decoder, small decoder. And, that is life. I had to take it, Rob. It's not the first thing that I had in my life. I had plenty setbacks. So, I just somebody that moves on and just look for the future.
But it can't be that easy. Like 21 years of service means a lot. I've seen people there for a shorter period of time and they get given, send-off and farewells and all sorts of lovely things, which I'm sure you are not privy to.
Well, that's what I thought at least, I mean, I was even playing at Supersport for more than 21 years. And, after I haven't worked there, Supersport suit out the golf thing, they didn't invite me also. So there's a line of things and I'm like, wow, you're looking for sports people. And I said, only when they're there, that's the reason why they're doing that. And I'm saying this with young players. I tell them, listen, you're living once. Don't hold anything back. As long as you respect people and they respect you, say it the way it is, because you're going to ask yourself why you didn't say it. But I was very disappointed, Rob, because, I gave everything that I had playing overseas and bringing that to analysts. And unfortunately, that is it. There is still some people that greet me, but, the send-off was not so nice.
Yeah. I'm sure you miss it, like, especially in this particular period where the World Cup is being played. And it's been a World Cup where 10 African nations have participated. We saw the last one bowing out last night. Deep down inside, I'm sure you miss imparting that knowledge, because that's what it is. It's imparting knowledge of what you know about the game, analyzing it from the perspective of a former professional and a former Bafana player. Surely you miss that.
Yeah, Rob, I do miss it. I thought maybe they were going to give me a call and say, listen, we need you. And I think for the analyst sitting there, I've got nothing against them, but you need to know, only if you play in a country. Most of those countries that's playing in the World Cup, I played in those countries. So when you start a conversation, you talk about the people's mentality in that country, how they play the game of it, and then you get into the technical side, then into the mental side of it. And unfortunately, I was sitting at home and I'm looking and listening to the analyst, and I'm like, well, they know certain things, but there's other things that Mark could have aired on. And unfortunately, that was up to the people at Supersport. And I just had to go with some of the people like Honor, Castle. They gave me some gigs where I had to be at Mall of Africa. But look, a lot of people still up to now, when they see me, cops are asking me, why are you not there on Supersport? We miss you, man, that voice. Rob, I can't believe it. In a club, I was talking. This guy came to me and said, I know that voice. I'm like, who? He says, no, I saw you on TV. So, but like, look, when I was there, I really enjoyed it. The people I worked to, but it's just the way it was sent off. It was a bad thing to swallow.
It's the Nation Builder.
Hi, Rob. Prominent from Denver. Greetings to you and greetings to Mark. I want to find out from him. I've got 2 questions for him. What was his overall assessment of Bafana's performance at the World Cup? And secondly, if Sapphires will have a coach who is inclusive, who will be coming to all legends. I know his name will be picked as legends who would advise the coach. If he's asked of the core of the team that should be built around the Bafana era after Hugo Bruce, who do you recommend to the new coach who will be coming? If it's not Helman Makaleli, or if Helman Makaleli considers to be inclusive and he asks for that advice, who is he going to pick? Thanks, Rob.
All right, that's Tom. Sounds like he's driving his convertible there. Hey, you can hear all that noise there. Drive safely, Tom. Get to your destination in one piece, man. Okay, let me start where he ended. Today, we wake up to the news that Coach Hugo Broos says in an interview back in Belgium that he's no longer going to be the coach of Bafana. Then late this afternoon, Safa releases a statement and says, no, he's still the coach of Bafana. Instead, he's going to be in the country maybe in the next 2 weeks. And that's when they will make some announcement, but he's still the coach of Bafana. What do you make of that? And who do you think should be coaching Bafana moving forward?
Yeah, well, that's a good question, Rob, because I've looked at it and I think that, Bruce has done very well. Coming into the country, it wasn't easy. He understood what he needed to do. It was a job to get South Africa to qualify for the AFCON Cup. Well done there, coach. And he got them in the World Cup. Well done there. Now, after the World Cup, you can only do so much. And I think that he must be having a great send-off. I think when he comes back, Safa mustn't hold on to him because I don't think there's anything more that he needs to. We need some other new ideas, new local people that can take the team onto another level. And I saw there was 3 names. So even the Minister of Sport was saying that he put his head on that
Pizzo should be.
Yeah, Pizzo should be there. And then Benny was there and Rani was there. And for me, as that Pizzo was there, I just think that we need somebody that can change the mentality and the mindset of our players, because it's nice when they play local, and we could see in the World Cup, now that I'm going through that phase, is that we were lacking international experience. The first game, we did well. I think that for some players, they got there and the passing was a bit too hard. And we're playing and we're not using our skill. We must use our ability, but, you can only say so much because it was my country. I needed to support them. So people come to me and say, what's wrong? I say, no, nothing is wrong. They're playing away. They're playing against a host, and it's not going to be easy. And then the second game, they got the result, and everything changes. So now the last game against South Korea, which I think if they had to play South Korea tomorrow, they will lose. Mentally, physically, that team was better prepared, but I think they wanted it more, and that's what we need.
And if we had to play Canada again, we would win.
We would win 100%. And because it is that when you want it more, and because of the mindset, and that is what we're lacking. That's why I said we need somebody that can come in with that mindset, that change the players' minds. Because what we need, and I don't want to compete, but I need to say that the team that we had 1996, that's the only team that 99% players that played overseas. We play the likes of Germany. We play the likes of England. We play the likes of Argentina. We play the likes of Brazil. So we had all the experience. We were not scared of any African team. The team that we had now, the Bafana team now, I want to know which international teams that they played before the World Cup. They played against small teams. So it's different to compare. And that is what we need to. We need to compete with the big teams. So when we play them in the World Cup, mentally, we are ready for them.
And nothing scares you, basically, is what you were saying. So if you had to, and it sounds like Mark Williams has got a name there. So when you say you need a coach with a different perspective, a different mentality, a different approach, who is that coach?
Well, who's that coach?
Yeah.
For me, I would definitely go for Benny. And the reason that if people want to know why I'm saying Benny has been around the block. He knows what players are playing in other countries. You need to play the game to understand the game. It's easy when you say, and a lot of times I had this, coaches have coached, but have they played? So when you don't play, you can't explain to the player what it is. You need to speak from inside to the player to understand when you do on the outside. And I think for me, I would definitely go with Benny. But when I say Benny, remember, I must also respect Yalman because he's been there. He must still be there. How they get him in there, he must be there because he must take and just first over where Bruce was to the new coach.
Good evening, Robert. This is Roger here. Listen, nice to see Mr. This season on the studios. What a man, what a player those days, and he still looks good. Only one question to Mr. Mark Williams. Would you like to be, or would you consider to become a comedian? I think that's your next step ahead. Anyway, lovely weekend and good show. Thanks, Rob. Bye.
You've had a stint as a comedian. You've done stand-up comedy before.
Yeah. Rob, I went to Strictly Come Dancing, and my competitor was Trevor Noah.
Yes.
And Thursdays we do this stuff, and then we go afterwards and things like that. And I asked Trevor, I said to him, Trevor, you are funny, man. He says, Mark, there's one person then funnier than me. It's you. So, when I did that stand-up stuff, I think, Rob, football is about the art. You need to enjoy the game. Yeah. But at the same time, there's sometimes you have to be serious, and sometimes you just have to take it on the back. And that's what
and storytelling is your thing, though, because you try to convince me to do that Strictly Come Dancing thing, and I looked at you and I said, your brain is dancing here, Mark. Please, don't give me those crazy things that I need to do. But it's part of storytelling, and your brain functions at a level that not too many people understand. And your historical recollection of events is something, again, second to none. So I don't know. What lies ahead for Mark Williams in the next couple of months?
Well, the next couple of months, Mark Williams is planning for the MW Tour, 96th 30th celebration. Like I said, we are going to Durban, PE, Cape Town, Bloemfontein, Joburg. And we just want to share those stories, what happened 30 years ago with the people, meet and greet, behind the scenes.
So we're in Durban, because,
well, that is not confirmed, but we're looking at the cinema where people, almost like you're going to a cinema, and you're going to meet these legends. And we're all going to have these nice, old school stuff because they're part of the sponsors. There's some car sponsors. But we want to say and let people know, not leaving that legendary behind, but sharing it with the people. And they must ask us also, but what did it take for you to become that and that? So that once we're not there one day, they can go back and say, wow, what a story.
Because KZN also was home to many, legends of the game. And you look at your, some have passed away, your Joe Mlabas. You look at a George Dernelly, he was also part of that. You look at a Calvin Peterson, he was also part of that. Professor Ngubane was also part and parcel of just, legends. Others made it into Bafana Bafana. Others, too far older to be playing for Bafana Bafana. And apartheid nibbled away at their integrity, and they were never part of what then became the great national team. Nathan Builder, I always respect you, sir. Let us know about the dates. We would love to be a part of it. As this show, we know we are always there to support the legends. So when the Durban leg does happen, please inform us. Even if it's, Kabacha, wherever. We would like to, shoot a few holes, play golf, although I can't play golf to save my life. But you know what I mean. The conversations will be on radio.
Now, thanks, Rob, for having me on the show. And I just want to say thank to all your listeners. And, my belief is always to make sure that I can give back, going to schools, going to companies that partner with me, look on the foundation, like you say, storytelling. But you need to convince the boy that he can be the next Mark Williams. But it's only about opportunity, and that's what it is.
Okay.
When you get the opportunity.
If I let you talk, you're going to be until 7 o'clock. Yo, bye-bye, Mark Williams. This is Marawa Sports Worldwide, proudly brought to you by Hollywood Bets. We're going to be back on Monday with another special international guest.
The thrill, the drama, the action. Play the game here. Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Vuma FM and Rise FM. Powered by Hollywood Bets. #MSW. Live now on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM and Soweto Live. At the same time. #MSW.